North America is home to one of the world's most diverse collection of big game species, but there is no debating the fact that the white-tailed deer, all the way from northern Canada down into old Mexico, is the hands-down winner of the title North America's favorite big game animal. Today we're going to dig deep into the whitetail topic with a man whose name is so closely tied to this species that he is known in the hunting world simply as Mr. Whitetail. Of course, I'm talking about my old friend and fellow Texan, Larry Washington. No one I know has a longer history or love affair with the white-tailed deer than Larry. From his early days as a wildlife biologist, his many books and countless magazine articles, seminar tours, pro staff work, television and video production efforts, and finally as a radio and blog host, Larry never strays far from learning about and hunting this iconic game animal. Today I'm sitting down with Mr. Whitetail to examine the reasons we all look forward to fall and the magical feeling that comes when the calendar says it's whitetail season. Come along as Larry and I examine this great game animal and look back on some of our own favorite memories from two guys that, no matter where our travels take us, always come home to our whitetails. Welcome to Trigicon's World of Sports Afield. In a lifetime of hunting, one of the things that I've noticed that hunters enjoy a lively debate when it comes to their game. What's the most difficult to hunt? What's the most beautiful? What's the fastest? In Africa, the debate's what's the most dangerous? Right here in North America, though, there is no debate when we talk about what's the most popular, and that is the white-tailed deer. And since that's the topic today, what better guest could we possibly have than my old buddy Larry Washington, otherwise known to the hunting world as Mr. Whitetail. Welcome, Larry.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here with you. And you're right, the white-tailed deer is pretty much scattered throughout North America, all the way up into Canada, I've actually seen them right below the tundra line to well into Mexico, and almost from the East Coast to just about to the West Coast. So tremendous population that has increased over the last several years and absolutely fantastic hunter opportunities.
Now, Larry, my question was really going to center around what got you into whitetail hunting. How did the moniker Mr. Whitetail come about? As long as I've known you, and we're sneaking up on probably 35 years in that relationship, you've been Mr. Whitetail. How did you get the name?
I was very fortunate. I came along as a wildlife biologist and as a hunter during the time frame when this interest really started building in white-tailed deer. Worked with a lot of different ranches, but along that same time frame I got to meet J. Wayne Fears. And Jay Wayne and I got to be hunting buddies, and he came down and hunted, and next thing I know I appeared on a cover of a magazine which there was a moniker, Larry Washington, Mr. Whitetail.
All right, Larry, if we're going to talk about whitetail, let's try to get into a little bit of statistics. And I know that's a big subject, but why is the whitetail so popular?
There have been many books written about the topic and lots of research that's gone into that. As I mentioned earlier, they're so widely distributed across North America, from north, south, east, and west. Currently, they're probably somewhere in the numbers of, say, 30 million white-tailed deer in North America. And they're probably 6-8 million white-tailed deer hunters, maybe even a few more. So lots of hunting opportunities because the numbers are there and the hunters are there.
It's one of my favorite places to hunt here on Sandstone. Kind of natural blind right here. So we're just gonna kind of sit back this afternoon, kind of relax, kind of got the wind blowing in our face this way, which is perfect. See what comes in this afternoon. I like this deer already, I'm telling you. I knew I liked that deer. Yeah, when he stepped out and I saw that he was typical 12, I thought, wait a minute, I haven't killed very many typical 12s in my life, and he is old. Little lines that run all the way through there, and you almost made a 7-point there.
Right.
Fantastic, by golly.
Some of the best memories aren't when the big buck walks out there. It's really telling your buddies about that story and capturing the feeling. And you know, memories are such a big part of the hunting experience. I think non-hunters really don't understand that. You know, not everything has to end with a kill. It's the memories, it's watching the sun come up, it's literally being an active part in the day. Larry, when we say white-tailed deer, you know, everybody has the picture of their mind, and generally it's the deer that they're hunting in their area. And you know, outdoor television, you know, for people that don't have the opportunity to travel like you and I might do, you know, they're on Outdoor Channel or Sportsman Channel, and they look up there and they're watching, you know, a hunt in Saskatchewan. Maybe this guy lives in the Texas Hill Country, and they eventually see the size of one of these things. It's like, that's a whitetail? That looks more like a mule deer.
Dave, the whitetail deer is essentially whitetail deer throughout North America, but because those particular areas, they develop their own deer, if you will, because of the temperature, because of the food availability, all those kind of things. Then you throw in the fact there's something called the Bergmann's rule, which is a natural rule that says within an individual species, the farther north you go in the northern hemisphere, the larger the bodies. And that's so it can help them go through those really cold days that they have up there and nights. You go farther south, you have to have a smaller deer that dissipates heat a lot quicker, kind of thing. Then you throw in nutrition and you throw in a few other factors. So there are different areas scattered throughout the states where the deer are basically white-tailed deer, but they can look a little bit different. If you look at the cow's deer found in the Southwest, those are much smaller animals. The reason they're smaller animals simply because of the heat and the nutritional availability that they have there.
There's a lot of whitetails, but they're not all the same. All right, Larry, I want to ask you a question. I doubt you've ever been asked this. What's your favorite way to hunt whitetail?
My favorite way to hunt whitetail is what works for the area that I'm hunting. You know, I love to spot and stalk, but some instances where you can kind of slip along very quietly, keep that wind in your face, maybe the sun at your back. Now, there are other times, depending on the terrain, vegetation, I may just sit and wait because there's a food source that I'm watching, maybe water, or there's a corridor that they're traveling between two big wide open areas, maybe just a little creek bottom. Now, I personally prefer to hunt on the ground because I like to have that eye-to-eye contact.
Looks like he's got a good spread on him, but he's looking right at us. Oh, he's outside his ears. He's either got 8 or 9 points total. But good mass, good color. Big, big neck. Look at him. Yeah, just come. Oh, no, you got his stand. Got her wind. Got her wind.
Dave, I don't think it's a secret that you and I really like hunting deer in a wide variety of habitat and terrain. And you know, sometimes that means we have to stretch that barrel a long way out there, but other times we're going to take a shot really close when we rattle in that buck.
That's it. But regardless of the rifle, caliber, or round we're using, we both prefer a variable scope with appropriate magnification settings with a minimum of 2.5 or 3x with a wide field of view on the low end and a 12x on the upper end.
We also want one with excellent light transmission that quickly gets us on target, but also one appropriate when you simply can't stalk any closer and have to take that long shot. Trijicon's Huron scope is ideal in both situations, including those for longer shots with its MOA and Hunter Hold second focal plane reticle.
Larry, to put it frankly, Trijicon's Huron scope was developed specifically for the American deer hunter.
Trijicon Huron scopes, while economically priced, use the same high-quality glass, proven precision, and rugged construction as Trijicon's higher-priced optics. The Huron is available in 6 different models, from the 1:4 by 24 to 2.5 to 10 by 40, 3 to 9 by 40, and 3 to 12 by 40, including some available in the 30mm tube.
Another thing I like about the Huron is the Huron's forgiving long eye relief.
If you're looking for an affordable whitetail deer hunting rifle scope, Trijicon's Huron is the one to start with and to finish with.
Well, one of the things I enjoy about the TV business, and we share a lot of the same sponsors and we hunt with a lot of the same gear. And one of the things that I really like, the input that we get, we're able to pass back to them. And when a sponsor like a Steve Hornady or, the folks at Trijicon say, we're wanting to develop, what are your thoughts on this? That's really kind of a neat process to be able to kind of have a little bit of hands-on saying, I think if we could create this, hey, that would be a big deal.
You're right, and I think part of that comes from our varied experience. With whitetail deer scattered, which we're talking about here, scattered all over North America, we're talking about long-range shooting, talking about close in, we're talking about so many different types of hunting when you get right down to it, where we can draw from to where maybe we can contribute a little bit to the development of a product.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat when you see that from a concept to you're holding it in your hands or you're looking through it. I think that's a really cool part of our jobs. It's something I really enjoy.
I think that's our buck, Hunter.
Yeah, it's him.
There he is. Yeah, that's our buck. Definitely our deer. Okay, you ready? I think we just shot a beautiful tarbone buck, brother. That's the
No, we've been watching him for a while.
Larry, I think you've probably taken whitetail deer with everything outside of a club.
I'd be surprised.
Well, I mean, but you've bow hunted, you've muzzleloader hunted, you're a big pistol shooter. Look, you've done it all. What are some of your go-to pieces of gear? Calibers, rifles. Let's talk about gear for a minute.
I love to hunt these days with a rifle and with a handgun. And yes, I hunted with a muzzleloader years ago, and I used to use a 50 caliber muzzleloader with Hornady bullets, with the SST bullets, and absolutely took some fantastic animals and all those kind of good things. Shot my last deer with a bow in 1984, to be very frank with you. That's a long, long time ago. When it comes to the handguns, I love the revolvers. I've shot a lot of single shots, but I love the 44 mag.
using the stock and shield. This shield, this stock and shield is amazing. I mean, this deer was watching us from the time we started working toward her. I've got a pistol, could easily take her. There's no question about shooting that deer right there with this revolver. Got an absolutely perfect morning. Got the wind coming in our face, got the sun in our back. Got in close to a doe. Not gonna take that one, but we may take another one a little bit later on. But it's amazing how close you can get if you take a little bit of time. And I just kind of really walked in on this one. I didn't really try to get very stealthy about moving. I love messing with them. Let's go see what else we can find.
Trigicon's World of Sports Afield has been presented by Trigicon, Brilliant Aiming Solutions, DSC, Conservation, Education, and Protecting Hunters' Rights, Hornady, Accurate, Deadly, Dependable, Boyd Harness Company, Mud River, Travel, Train, Hunt, Ripcord Rescue Travel Insurance, Sports Afield Trophy Properties, the Wildlife Gallery, and by Sam Hunter Training, because you only get one first shot.
We just saw a really good old mature buck bedded with a doe. We're gonna try to put a move on him. Got everything working against us right now. I got the wind in our back. He's in front of us. We're going to try to see what we can do. Sometimes it works, and most times it doesn't, but we're going to go see. Got to try. Big old mature deer. And I'll follow you. Looking at us. Wait for him to stand up. Come on, stand up. Get ready.
Good job, Senor. Good job. That is a beautiful deer.
That's a big deer.
He's down. He's not going anywhere.
No, but I want
I can see him. He's done. That was a great deer. That's a great deer.
That's a good deer. What a deal.
Good job.
What a deal. God.
Wind wrong. Middle of the day.
Sometimes you just got to try stuff. I mean, literally, you got to try. That is pretty. That is pretty. Look at that, would you?
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Look at that. And look at the cape. I mean, this deer is absolutely gorgeous. He didn't give me a whole lot of choice on where to shoot him. I had him, he was laying down when we saw him.
With that brush, you weren't going to get the...
No. And I was deathly afraid that what he's going to do, he's going to be gone.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the shot.
We did it again.
Yes, we did.
We did it again.
Larry, as we're coming around the final turn, I think we'd be remiss if we don't talk about the enormous conservation impact that whitetail deer hunting plays.
It really does. It's so very important economically to small communities. Some of the communities wouldn't hardly exist were it not for the influx of deer hunters coming in during the fall. You know, there's one group of outdoorsmen, or one group of people that said, we'll pay a tax to support what we do, and that's the hunter.
Yeah, the Pittman-Robertson Act in 1937
The Pittman-Robertson gathers billions of dollars every year. Really, it is truly a huge number, and a great portion of that, or at least half, probably comes from whitetail deer hunters because of that industry that's been developed. That money goes into a fund, and the way it's set up is that it's then dispersed to the different states, basically based upon the fact of how many hunting licenses. That money is what really pays for conservation. That money goes to the state game departments or wildlife departments, if you will, the DNR, whatever you want to call them. And that's where their money comes from, and that goes to things dealing with hunting, but also with non-game species as well. So that hunter that pays that excise tax to the Pittman-Robertson Act, they're contributing. One of the things that you have to do when you're into a management program is take does as well as bucks, and I dearly wanted to take a doe while I was here on Sandstone Mountain. I've learned that the venison from this ranch is out of this world good. It was coming on late in the afternoon, and we had just a very few deer there. I was waiting for an older doe to show up.
Chris, I think I will take that doe if it's okay.
Okay, yeah, it's okay.
There she is right there. She's hit hard.
That's an absolutely beautiful rack, and as we strive toward that, we create management programs which really produce a really good habitat for a lot of animals, and game and non-game, but also healthy habitat. But the beneficiary a lot of times is the white-tailed deer. There's a shared wild harvest initiative that's going on right now, and really it's tremendous in terms of the research that's being done around deer hunting particularly. That provides something like 1.7 billion meals to people, not just those who took the animals, but those with which they were shared.
Because the reason man became a hunter in the first place, was for the protein,
Exactly right. Hunting came to fill your belly so that you could survive.
And it is still a great byproduct of the experience we call hunting whitetail deer. Larry has been a mentor of mine, a dear friend, and such an inspiration in this industry. And Larry, it is a pleasure and an honor to have you, Mr. Larry Weissing, Mr. Whitetail, share some time with us today.
It is totally my pleasure. Thank you.